final farewell to a fallen officer. Hundreds gathering to pay their respects to Richardson Police Officer David Sherrard.
I do not have adequate words to express the grief that we all feel.
Husband, father, and brother in blue.
He was a warrior. He was selfless. He was a leader. He lived that way, and he died that way.
He made the ultimate sacrifice, and now the community he served and protected honors his life and the legacy that he leaves behind. And we thank you for joining us at 6 tonight. I'm Doug Dunbar.
And I'm Gilma Avalos in for Kelly O'Kelly, who's on leave. The impact of Officer Sherrard's death hit home today as hundreds filled a Dallas church for his funeral.
CBS 11's J.D. Miles joining us live right outside Watermark Church, where the service was held and where it looks like the procession is about to get underway. J.D.?
Doug, Gilma, you can see the lights and you can hear the roar of the motorcycle engines firing up behind me as it looks like we're about to get underway here, as you said, with the procession. Just an awesome sight of blue and red lights in the distance. You know, there's a lot of pageantry around police funerals like this, the color guards and the processions like the one you see here, but there was an intimacy around this one from the stories told by those who knew David Sherrard best, including his widow.
We're here and we're honoring a true hero.
Richardson Police Chief Jimmy Spivey told mourners in a Dallas church that Officer David Sherrard showed his character and courage by leading the entry into an apartment where he was shot and killed.
He was the first in the door, received and returned fire. Recognizing he was hit and unable to stay in the fight, he conducted his own rescue and moved himself back to cover. By effecting his own rescue, he saved those other guys' lives that were in that room.
It was no accident that David Sherrard was #1 in that stack that went into that apartment on the 7th of February. David knew what he was doing. David knew that it was his time to lead. He knew that people depended on him, and he rose to that occasion.
Stories of the 37-year-old's heroism were confirmed by others who spoke at his funeral, attended by hundreds of current and former officers. His close friends still struggle to make sense of his death.
And he usually would tell me that God has a plan and to trust it. I just really need to hear him say that right now.
Sherrard's widow shared her 20-year love story with her high school sweetheart and the example he set not just as an officer, but as a husband.
Dave set the bar very high as a husband. He was an amazing example of what a husband should be to his wife, and I'm grateful our daughters got to witness just how much he loved me so selflessly.
And Lord, haste the day.
Musical tributes inside the church, and a 21-gun salute below a large American flag outside the church provided the sights and sounds associated with honoring heroes, a title those who knew Sherrard say he has earned. And I'm told that the family was given some private time after the service to be alone with the body of David Sherrard, as well as some of his SWAT team members. One final goodbye in the church. That's why this procession is getting underway a little bit late, but as you can see, it is about to get underway, and we're going to follow it here, and we'll of course have updates on its route to Rowlett, where it will end in a private burial at a graveside site there. Live in Dallas, J.D. Miles, CBS 11 News.
Thank you, J.D. Thousands have lined the processional route to pay their respects to Officer David Sherrard. Our Dan Haggerty is along that route in Dallas and joins us live. Dan?
Yeah, we're standing at the first overpass, the first major overpass of the procession route. You'll see on the bridge just behind me here the firefighters, first responders, as well as many people from the community. A lot of them brought their kids out here. Most of them, guys, have been standing here since about 4 o'clock waiting, and I'll tell you, I've not seen one person leave. The crowd's only been growing. We do have some good interviews from these people, some things that they were telling us, including from one man who was a former deputy who told us he's been in one of these processions before and talked about how important the support is.
I don't know him, I've never met him, but yet I do know Officer Sherrard. Whether they're pulling over and standing out with their hands on their heart, or a salute, or those that take the time to come and just observe the procession. As an officer wearer, as a uniform wearer, it is so uplifting and it is so encouraging.
We respect officers, back the blue fully. I want to teach my kids that cops are good and they help you. And
after the funeral today, officers saluting the casket. The procession will then lead to the cemetery in Rowlett. Officers from several departments came together to help all this happen today, help the Richardson officers attend the funeral and the burial. Plano, Grand Prairie, Garland, Dallas has officers taking calls in Richardson tonight. Rowlett has 40 officers doing everything from working the procession route to taking shifts at the local high schools.
We have officers that immediately will step up and say, I want to help, tell me where to go. It makes us feel proud that we can step up and actually do something for them.
As we showed you off the top of JD's story, you could tell that the procession was getting ready to start. You can see the traffic building behind me. They're going to come right down through here on 75 and get on the Bush Turnpike. I will say to some folks out there watching this, if you're expecting people home or if you're headed out on the roads, there are going to be some closures as they move through on the Bush Turnpike from 75 to Miller Road in Rowlett. Reporting live, Dan Haggerty, CBS 11 News.